And Stephen May addressed his former teammates today, with Max Gawn admitting he didn't see the retirement coming. Things move quickly in football. May's spot on the list has been taken by small forward Paddy Cross.
Life officially after Stephen May for these Demons. It's another premiership player out under the new Stephen King regime.
If you listen to what Stephen's saying and how he addressed the group, he's taken responsibility for where things are at. He hasn't been at the club now for the better part of 5 weeks, so he's a long way behind in where he should be from pre-season.
But falling behind in pre-season wasn't why May retired. After multiple off-field indiscretions, he admitted to becoming a distraction.
We've got standards and values that we expect everybody at the football club to meet. Stephen knew he wasn't meeting those.
May addressed his teammates at the club today. He and Max Gawn are good friends, but the skipper says he was kept in the dark.
He just hasn't been at training, and the word has been he's been focused on his family and himself, and we've all been behind that.
This is how Gawn will remember the two-time All-Australian.
Well, premiership player, and played a massive role in 2021.
Melbourne's Stephen May has fronted teammates after announcing his shock retirement. The premiership demon has admitted he became a distraction to teammates, calling time on his career after 251 games. Joel Kennedy has the story.
Stephen May returning to Melbourne for the final time. The 251-game premiership demon fronting teammates after his shock retirement.
We've got standards and values that we expect everybody at the football club to meet. Stephen knew he wasn't meeting those, so took the decision to retire.
Announcing it via Instagram last night, the 34-year-old admitted he's become a distraction.
Yeah, we've been sort of kept in the dark on this a little bit as a playing group. He just hasn't been at training, and the word has been he's been focused on his family and himself.
Having spent 5 weeks away from the club, May has been involved in controversy throughout the off-season. In January, police visited his home, while he's also been dealing with the fallout from an incident in Sorrento in 2024.
I want to get to Stephen May. So, unusual circumstances, I think, to say the least, this pre-season. There was talk of him getting traded, he stayed, and then the unusual circumstance where he wasn't at training. Police, we were told, rocked up to his house. Anyway, it's all culminated yesterday in him announcing his retirement on the eve of the season.
Yeah, we've been sort of kept in the dark on this a little bit as a playing group. He just hasn't been at training, and the word has been he's been focused on his family and himself, and we've all been behind that. And then, yeah, as recently as last night was when we got filled in. Maisie will come into the club today to do some sort of retirement speech, and we'll get a bit more information from Steve himself. But the quote from Steve via the player WhatsApp, and then the quote from the club is all he's retiring to focus on his family and himself.
So as captain of the club, you sort of had no line of sight that this was imminent, that his announcement was imminent?
I mean, as captain, no. As just a general bystander or a fan, you sit there and go, he hasn't trained for 4 or 5 weeks. Something is coming. Did I think a retirement? Probably not, just because I'm very unaware of situations why you would retire in March until we found out there is a list spot.
Is it unusual for the player to make the announcement? Normally there's some kind of press conference the club convenes and we find out in those circumstances.
I think it's all very unusual when a player retires in March and how it happens. I think it was starting to get leaked out from
a few journalists had reported on it, so I've got the sense he was reacting to that.
So, yeah, Steve and the club got on the front foot and did it last night, and then we get Steve in today.
What will be his legacy at the club?
Well, premiership player, and played a massive role in 2021 around that. Chose to come to the D's in 2019 because off the back of 2018 we made a prelim, and he had a choice between Melbourne and Collingwood, and we ended up winning the Spoon in 19, or pretty close to it, and Collingwood played in the grand final.
Yeah.
So he felt like he made the wrong decision at that point, but then, 21.
Part of the Jesse Hogan trades and moving around.
Was he?
Yeah, he was part of that.
Let's get into the agenda. At the top of it is a man who will no longer be a part of the 2026 season. Premiership defender Stephen May brought a close to a tumultuous off-season. He took the resolution to retire from footy.
Yeah, if you listen to what Stephen's saying and how he addressed the group, he's taken responsibility for where things are at. He hasn't been at the club now for the better part of 5 weeks, so he's a long way behind in where he should be from pre-season. ultimately, us as a club, we've got standards and values that we expect everybody at the football club to meet. Stephen knew he wasn't meeting those, so took the decision to retire. We wanted to make sure that, first and foremost, given the challenges that Stephen was going through, he was supported. But we also, need to recognise that it's more than just Stephen inside the footy club. We've got standards and values that need to be met. If Stephen couldn't meet those, like anyone else, they need to think about what their future is, and Stephen on this occasion decided that he couldn't focus on his family and his own self as well as meeting the rigours of AFL football, so he's decided to retire.
He was heading down this path really from October when Melbourne met with Stephen May, told him if he could find a new home, go, free to a good home essentially. And in a competition where there is a dearth of big key defenders, he couldn't find one as no one was prepared to offer him that lifeline. It has become more tumultuous as the off-season has gone on, and to hear the standards and values, this felt like the right outcome.
Yeah, I think Stephen, by his own admission, had become a distraction for a football club that started, trying to reset. It's been big change down at the footy club, and I think the decision in the end was the right one. How will he be remembered? I don't think there's any doubt in the world that he goes down as one of the 23 heroes that was able to deliver Melbourne Footy Club a premiership when it looked at times, in my supporting days, that may never have happened, and the role that he played during that time. I mean, we'll dissect his career, and it will be dissected in the next couple of days. He was an unbelievably good footy player. But ultimately, you can act your way out of a footy club too, Jared. I think there's an element of that as well with Stephen King, and he'll be remembered as a 250-game, two-time All-Australian premiership player. It's a great resume who had some difficulties along the way as well.
It is. It's a complex legacy because of what you've just outlined there. So he's an inaugural son. He goes on to be a co-captain there. He's a prize target for Melbourne after 8 years in the expansion market. He comes and he gets the 2 All-Australians. He's probably the story of folklore in the grand final where he plays with a torn hamstring, as is resumed later. But he has these moments where he looks like a poor teammate. The entrecôte bust up, the way he treated Max Gawn on the King's birthday last year, and he's had off-field, let's call them complications, which are still to fully resolve.
Yeah, and don't for one second think that most AFL premiership clubs or successful clubs haven't had 1 or 2 difficult players that sit within that group. Now, I'm not saying that was Stephen the whole time, but it would appear that he's become difficult. And look, when you're a really good, strong footy club, you can handle that. You can handle those personalities. I think that the Geelong coach is going to join us, and what they've been able to do and how they handle some players that may not toe the line exactly is different to the way other clubs that aren't as structurally strong. So, look, I thank him. I think he'll go, as I say, as a Melbourne premiership player, and that's the highest accolade from our footy club point of view. And I'm disappointed that he's gone out the way he has, but there's a standard that needs to be set, and he can't quite get there. And again, by his own admission, he'd become a distraction. So, out today, another player gets an opportunity as a result of it.
It felt like the sentiment from the Melbourne public was thanks, and this is the right decision because of all the change that has gone on. Is the planks have been stripped away, not one way or another, and this is sort of another key moment of that.
Yeah, and I think that's the world we live in now, right? So particularly when you get to that stage of his career. But along the way, I was talking to a couple of Melbourne people today, and they were talking about him, but God, he was good. At a time when there was Franklin and there was Curnow and there was Hawkins, the security as a supporter to go, yeah, okay, but we've got Maisie. And he was, at his best, he was an unbelievably good footy player. So well done, good career. Hopefully, can get his life in order, and he'll, as I say, he'll always have a home at the Melbourne Footy Club as a premiership hero.
Did it hurt parting company with Melbourne?
Oh, yes, for sure. The worst part about it was I'd just done a pre-season, and I hate pre-seasons, right? Not a lot of people like them, but I really hate them. And it was the end of January, so I finally got through it, ready for a new year. I was injured all last season. Had a bad year on the field, and I was really ready to, show people that I still have it. And did the pre-season, ran a PB in January, up and about, let's go. And then, had a bit of a mental breakdown, and found myself a bit lost and not sure what to do. And came to a point where I had to put the club before myself, and I was able to retire before the deadline, so then they could get another player in, and Paddy Cross is playing good footy now. So, and Melbourne are flying. So, all in all, looks like it's worked well for both parties.
Stephen May says he had a mental breakdown before retiring. The former Demon had police charges against him dropped on Friday after 2 years in the courts from an incident in Sorrento and was preparing for life under new coach Stephen King.
Did the pre-season, ran a PB in January, up and about, let's go. And then, had a bit of a mental breakdown and found myself a bit lost and not sure what to do. And I've had a few indiscretions off field, you could say, and when you're so innocent in something and no one really believes you.
May is now looking for a career in commercial real estate.